Hello everyone, welcome to High Tech Study Plus. In today's video, we are going to discuss about the outbreak of the French Revolution. This is part 2 of our video on the French Revolution. Now, let us first know what is the Estates General. In our previous video, we had discussed about the French society in the late 18th century. The society was divided into 3 estates. Now, the Estate General is a political body to which the 3 states sent their representatives. And as per the old regime, the monarch had to call a meeting of this body to pass a proposal for new taxes. And as we had learnt in the previous section, that Louis XVI had to increase the taxes for various reasons. Now, on 5th May 1789, he called for a meeting of this Estates Generals. 300 members of the first and the second estate, they sat facing each other, and the 600 members of the third estate stood at the back. And apart from this, the peasants, the artisans and women were not given entry to this. In this assembly, the third estate was represented by its more prosperous and educated member, and the grievances of the third estate were listed in some 40,000 letters, and the representatives had brought these letters with them. Now, voting in the Estate General in the past was conducted as per a principle, and the principle is that each estate will have one vote. The first estate has one vote, the second estate has one vote, and the third estate also has one vote. Now, the members of the third estate, they wanted a change in this principle. They wanted to change this principle so that each member will have one vote. They had got this idea from one of the democratic principles put forward by philosophers like Rousseau in his book The Social Contract. However, the king rejected this proposal, and the members of the third estate walked out of the assembly. Then let us discuss about the tennis court oath. On 20th June, the members of the third estate assembled in the hall of an indoor tennis court in the ground of Versailles. They declared themselves as the National Assembly. They swore not to disperse until they draft a constitution, and these people, they were led by Mirabeau and Abessius. Mirabeau, he belonged to a noble family. He was convinced of the need to do away with the feudal privileges. Abessius was a priest, and he had written a pamphlet, What is the Third Estate? Now, apart from this advances, there was severe winter, and due to this severe winter, there was bad harvest, and this led to an increase in the prices of bread, and as a result of this, the bakers started hoarding the bread. And during this time, the king had ordered troops to move into Paris, and eventually it led to the destruction of the fortress Pizan, the Bastille, and we had discussed this in the first part of our video. Now, in the countryside, rumors started to spread that the manor refers to an estate consisting of the lord's lands and his mansion. So, rumors started to spread that the manor had hired brigands. Brigands means plunderers, to destroy the ripe crops. Now, due to this, fear evolved in the minds of the peasants, and they seized hoes and pitchforks and attacked the chateau. Chateau refers to a castle or stately residence belonging to a king or nobleman, and these peasants, they started to loot the hoarded grains and burnt down the documents containing the records of the manorial dues. Now, due to this, what happened was the nobles fled from their home. Louis XVI saw all this. He faced the power of the revolting subjects, and finally he accorded recognition to the National Assembly, and he accepted that his powers would be checked by a constitution. On 4th August 1789, a decree was passed by the National Assembly abolishing the feudal system of obligations and taxes. The clergy had to give up their privileges, tithe was abolished, lands owned by the church was also confiscated. Now, as the constitution was passed, France became a constitutional monarchy. The National Assembly completed drafting the constitution in the year 1791, and the main objective of this was to limit the powers of the monarch. Now, the institutions of the government were to be legislature, executive and judiciary. The powers, instead of being concentrated in the hands of one person, was now to be separated and divided among these three branches. Legislative makes laws, executive implements those laws, and judiciary looks after the law and order situation. Now, as per the Constitution of 1791, the power to make laws was vested in the National Assembly, and the elections to the National Assembly were to be held indirectly. Now, the citizens were divided as active citizens and passive citizens on the basis of certain criteria. Active citizens were those citizens who were above the age of 25 and who paid taxes equal to at least 3 days of laborer's wage, and these active citizens were essentially men. All others were called passive citizens. So, the active citizens were men above 25 years of age who paid taxes equal to at least 3 days of a laborer's wage. Now, the active citizens chose a group of electors, and then these electors chose for the National Assembly. Thus, the elections were indirect. The Constitution of 1791, it began with a declaration of the rights of man and citizen. Rights like right to life, freedom of speech, equality before law were established as natural and inalienable rights, and they belong to each human being by birth, and no one can take them away. And it was the duty of the state to protect the right of the citizens. It was the duty of the state to protect the natural rights of the citizens. With this, we end our video. Thank you. For more such videos, stay tuned, like, share and subscribe our channel.